I do have a
Yeah.
memory of when I was 6, and I thought you were talking about just coming to Earth, but the secret space program, I do have a memory when I was 6 of men in a Jeep coming to my dad's house because my dad was in the army. I mean, I had military in my family,
Hmm.
and coming to our house and taking me out of the house and actually before I saw where my parents were sitting at a table and they were almost like comatose and they were had papers in front of them and they signed, you know, signed the papers for them to take me.
Hmm.
I don't feel that they took my sister, but they took me, and um, and then I ended up in a underground base with other children around the same, and we went through some kind of a uh, orientation to see if we were who they wanted, you know, that type
Mm.
of thing. And I
Hmm.
believe that that's when I was brought into the program.
Okay. Hey there, beautiful souls. It's your girl, Allie, and we are back at it again for another episode of Living Life Consciously. We have a very special guest lined up for you today who's been on the show before, so I hope you're glad to see her back. And without further ado, Justin, say hey.
Hey there, Cosmic Thrill Seekers. I'm Justin. This is Living Life Consciously, where we explore the extraordinary, ride the waves of inspiration, and embark on an adventure of limitless curiosity together. Sharon, you want to say hi?
Hello, everyone. Hello, Allie and Justin. Great to be back.
Hey, good to see
Yeah,
you
thanks for
again.
being
I'm
back.
excited for this part 2 conversation. All right, and for our audience, Sharon Sananda Kumara is back on Living Life Consciously, and this time we're going beyond the veil and into the stars. In this brand new episode, Sharon opens up about her personal encounters with extraterrestrial beings and the stunning memories she's recovered related to the secret space program. These experiences stretch from her early childhood all the way to interdimensional missions that defy logic but carry a deep spiritual truth. As a gifted psychic medium, NDE experiencer, and co-author of the book Death, Sharon has spent years helping others to connect with the unseen. But her latest revelations take things to a whole new level. With honesty and heart, she shares what it was like to meet beings from beyond this world, the emotional toll of remembering impossible things, and how her connection to Christ consciousness helped her make sense out of everything. If you've ever felt like you don't quite belong here or that something bigger is calling you, this episode is for you. Get ready for a consciousness expanding, heart opening episode that may resonate more deeply than you expected. All right, Sharon, good to have you back.
Thank you. Thank you. I will say that I have published my own book since we talked last. So I'm proud of that. It's called Awakened Soul. Yeah, and it describes some of what we're going to talk about today with some very strange experiences that I had no idea anything about.
Thank you so much for that reminder. Yeah, so Awakened Soul, my near-death journey home through Christ's infinite love.
Yes, that's the one.
I'll pop that up on the screen for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, so do you have anywhere specific you want to start, or should I start with a question?
You can start with a question. Yeah, it's up to you. Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. So last time we spoke to you, you shared your near-death experience with us where you crossed over the veil, got to meet Yeshua, have that whole experience. But this time around, we're going to be talking about your ET encounters and your secret space program memories, which I don't know if I mentioned this to you last time, but I have a small obsession with the secret space program. Okay. So I'm very, very interested in this. So when did you first realize your ET experiences were different or like not just a dream or something you're making up?
Well, when I started remembering them, it was after my near-death experience and after my head injury at that time in 2002, 2003, and during my meditations, because Christ was telling me to meditate every night and asking me. He never tells me anything, but he asks. But yeah, and so I'm like, okay. My memories of my childhood started coming up, and that's when I started remembering that I was having interactions with extraterrestrials, 3 gray beings that were looking after me at that time, because I was remembering the childhood abuse that was going on. Because I had big blank spots in my childhood memories, in my memory banks. And I didn't know anything about extraterrestrials at the time. This is like 22 years ago.
Okay.
I wasn't metaphysical at all. And like I explained in my story or my interview about the NDE, I wasn't on that spiritual path. I was a partier. I kept down a job and stuff like that. And I was just normal, in the matrix, basically.
Living the 3D life, right? I know.
There you go. Yeah.
I get it.
And it was after my dad died that I started searching for spiritual answers about the afterlife. And then I had my NDE. So when I was having these memories, because they weren't dreamlike or at all, they were visceral, they were real. I was in the memory. I realized afterwards that, and I did a little bit of study on repressed memories, and when they do come up, you feel the pain that you repressed. I could smell the vomit and things like that of what was repressed during those experiences, because we, as a child, we repress it, and and a lot of times we'll leave our body. And I was seeing that I was watching from that viewpoint too, from a higher perspective in a lot of these experiences. But while I was watching and being in these experiences again, I could see that there was these 3 gray beings that would come in and pull me out of the experience. And it freaked me out, let me tell you, because I didn't know anything about these types of beings at that time.
Okay.
And so I also saw them stop the perpetrator. He would just freeze, they'd wave their hand or touch him and he would freeze. And then they'd take me. Sometimes they would take me on their little ship, and I was catatonic at the time. So they would just basically walk me to the ship and heal my body. They did a lot of that. And I could smell this purple wand that they waved over me, those types of experiences, and they would talk to me. And all these memories were coming up about things they would tell me, that they had clones. They had made clones of my body.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and this is before people were even talking about clones, and I was scared to death to even say the word when I would.
So this is pre-Dolly, huh?
This is pre what?
Dolly the sheep that they cloned.
Oh, right.
I was trying to make a joke. Sorry.
Okay, I forgot about Dolly.
Yeah, I did too. I was like, what?
Dolly the sheep. Sorry, lame joke.
That's all right. But I'm sure they've been doing it for a long time. That was just when we started finding out about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I feel. But or no, because they were doing this when I was a child, and as that type of thing. I didn't realize at the time that they were prepping me for memories about the secret space program, or my memories were coming back about that.
Oh.
And if you know anything about Tony Rodriguez, I mean, that's his, but okay. Yeah.
I love Tony. Yes. I got his book right here.
Blew my mind. Yeah.
It's
you have his book?
Yep, I do. It's in here somewhere. Here it is.
Yes, there it is.
Project Summer. I had Sirius Cavalier on like the Kindle version on my phone.
Okay.
That is
that's a good one too.
I got to get the 3rd one. He has a 3rd one out. I haven't read yet.
Yeah. I was in part of some of those remote viewing tests too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, part of his group for a while.
Oh,
yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. So I didn't know anything about secret space programs.
Tony's the one that introduced me to it. I'm sorry for cutting you off, but like he's the one that got me into the whole thing. When I read his book, I was like, holy schnack. Like there's a whole thing happening out there that we don't have any knowledge of until somebody like Tony spills the tea. And then you're like, wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Right.
Totally.
Yeah.
The only reason he did hit with me is because he was confirming my memories from before.
Wow.
I was having memories. I mean, I was basically had what my guides call a quickening. I was going through that, where all these memories, a Kundalini awakening, where all these memories come up for you. I was dealing with that. I was
Okay.
dealing with memories of reptilians, Draco, that type of thing, being terrified of them. So this was all new stuff for me. I'm like, this is,
It's a lot to process.
yeah, a lot. And
Yeah.
and I remember that I had something in the tear duct of my eye. I would look at myself in the mirror before I knew anything about secret space programs. I would look at myself in the mirror and ask myself, which one am I now? Who am I now? That type of thing. I don't know why I asked that. I was just asking that. And then Tony, in his book, Sirius Cavalier, he talks about when his body was damaged so bad, they would pull his consciousness out of his tear duct and put it in another body.
Really?
Yeah, and this tear duct always bothered me for a long time as an adult.
Okay.
And and then it hit me, oh my gosh, because I knew there was something about my tear duct that I needed to know, or there was something going on. And I never had any injury or anything there during my life. And so that made sense. That
resonated.
hit home with me. Yeah, totally. And there was a few things that he said in the book that also hit home with me. And things are still coming up that people are talking about. I don't know if you know JP from Michael Sala's. Okay.
I was just watching Michael Sala this morning.
Okay, yeah. And I just finished reading the 2 books about JP, and some of the stuff in there that I missed in his interviews, like going to a Ganymede or a moon and seeing pyramids and underground. What are they?
The DUMBs, the deep underground bases.
Yeah, but they are record places.
Oh.
Keep records, like Akashic
Okay.
Records type of thing.
Okay.
I had an out-of-body experience where I went to a moon, and I thought it was the other moon, not Ganymede, but another. I hadn't even heard of Ganymede until I read Tony's book, but some out-of-body experiencers and we went to took a trip to one of the moons off of Europa.
Okay.
Oh, Europa?
Europa?
Yeah, Europa.
Europa, okay.
Yeah.
We went to that moon and I saw pyramids. I saw these records, and I heard a voice in my head telling me, guiding me about the whole thing. They were showing me the records of Earth. They were showing me the records of other planets. And I didn't even put it together till I heard JP's or heard what he said in the book, Michael Sala's book, during an interview, that he was on these moons and they have all this stuff in the moons that he was on. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is probably part of my memories of being in a program. So I've been documenting a lot of this stuff, and I've pulled in memories where I am on ships in uniform, different uniforms.
Okay. Are you human in all of them?
Not always.
Okay.
Yeah. Mostly.
Throw that out there.
No. Yeah, I've seen myself as an extraterrestrial. I mean, I'm humanoid, but I've seen myself as an extraterrestrial. I've many times.
Wow.
I've seen myself as a blue being with like beautiful, and my mate on the ship is, and I know he's my mate, and I could see that he's bald and he has bright blue, like the color behind you, or behind me, this beautiful blue, cobalt blue skin.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and it's almost like I want to say it's snake skin, but it's not like snake skin, but it has that kind of pattern. Gorgeous. And I was the same, and we're mates on a ship, and I'm talking to him as me, Sharon, here, and I ask him, oh, and I can see out the windows and see over landscape. I said, are we on a ship? I'm talking to him as me. And he said, yes, we are. So I have that dual experience.
Okay.
I've seen myself as a purple being, light purple lavender being with really long legs. And I'm part of we were on a mission, and they called it, and I get emotional when I talk about this because we were rescuing a aquatic being who was kidnapped. He was the leader of his community, of his group, his island, his group. And I don't know what planet this is on, but he was tortured and experimented on by humans.
Oh no.
So I'm in and out of what I call I just call it a reality shift, because I'm not here anymore. I'm there.
You're there,
just,
yeah.
Right.
just as real as it is here.
Right.
Oh, okay.
If not more. And I'm in this, but I have my awareness here as Sharon.
Okay.
In that reality. And I look and I see these purple beings, and they have a female vibe. And I'm asking this one woman who I feel is a female, one of the purple beings, what is this? What is this? And she's telling me we are the League of something Mars or Narn or something, like Narn or something. And I go, oh, the League of Mars. She goes, no, not Mars. She said it like 3 times, no, not Mars, because I kept saying League of Mars. She goes, no, like Narn or Mon, or might be man, I don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
But, and she told me to look down. I looked down, and I was one of them. And she told me that we're going on a mission to rescue the aquatic being that I had memories of earlier, which is another story, but I had memories of that being in the body of that aquatic being, seeing is bipedal, swam in water. He went through a portal to another planet, and I was in his body from that perspective, and came out because the people on his island were the fish was poisoned. They were poisoning the waters around his island. So he went to find out and get help, and they captured him. I know it sounds like sci-fi, but that's what happened. So our mission was so I guess that was a gift or something, where I was part of that mission to rescue him.
Okay.
Who was also a part of me, apparently. And
like you had fractals of your soul in the person doing the rescuing and in the person or being rescued?
Yes.
Oh,
that's
okay.
what it seems like.
Okay.
Yeah, totally. Because it was super emotional for me when that happened, when we did finally rescue him, because the experience before, when I saw myself as that aquatic being, and all these memories were coming in during the experience, I felt so sad, and I felt like I was still there in this lab. I was in a tank, a stand-up tank, and they were experimenting on my intuitive abilities, my shape-shifting abilities, all that kind of thing, that these beings were doing, and wanted to help them or give them information or something. Anyway.
Okay.
So you were an aquatic being, right? At that point?
Yes.
Yeah, standing up in the tank. Okay.
Yes, I was the aquatic being, from the perspective of the aquatic being.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
From that perspective. And
I was thinking when you said that you were in Europa. Europa is a water planet, or it's a moon that's covered in liquid water. There's a really deep ocean, but then a really thick sheet of ice all the way around the planet.
Oh.
Or no, I say planet. It's a moon, all the way around the moon, and so that makes sense if you were an aquatic being.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wow.
That's what came to mind. Sorry.
Yeah. Who knows? Yeah, totally. There's a lot more, I believe, water type planets out there than that we know of.
Oh,
right.
Sure. Yeah.
And during my NDE, I was taken to a water planet. So yeah,
that's right. I remember you telling us that the first time. Mm-hmm. Okay, so POV being in the tank, they're trying to experiment to see what you could do for them psychically and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, they wanted our innate technology, I guess you could say. They wanted that, and they were experimenting on him, and they would not let him go. And they were the ones poisoning the water. And so yeah, I was with this league of rescuers on this mission. I was with them and rescued him. It was about 3 weeks later that this happened, maybe a month later. And I didn't know or didn't have any heads up beforehand. You're going on a mission tonight, you know.
Right.
Right. I'm just there.
Okay.
So yeah. And we rescued him. Yeah.
Awesome.
So I didn't bring back all of the memory of the rescue, but I knew that we did.
Okay.
And unfortunately there was people that were taken out. Yeah. So I do have those memories. Mm-hmm.
How do these memories usually come back to you? Because I'm thinking about like past life regression, right? How people can go into a hypnotic state and recall past lives. But I don't think I put secret space program memories in the same category as past lives, because okay, so basically, like, I'm thinking of a 20 and back, right? Like they take your consciousness out of your body, and then sometimes they like even fractalize it, so they have like 10 of you instead of one of you, and then they put it into all these different beings, and then those beings are sent off onto missions, and they live for 20 years doing those missions. Then when they're done, they come back, they take the soul back out, plop it back in you, return you to Earth, like literally 1 Earth minute later, and you had just done past 1 minute on Earth, but lived 20 years doing missions in space. So I'm wondering, like, is recalling a past life memory through hypnosis, like, how is that the same, or how is it different from having a memory from a secret space program situation? Because I don't feel like secret space program missions, that's what I was trying to get to. I just remembered my own point, was that it's like not in the past. If anything, it's like in some other bubble of time, because I don't even know how to explain. I don't even know how to like correctly verbalize it, but like I'm trying to make a comparison between past life memory recall and super soldier memory recall.
I mean, what if this has been going on for eons, you know, and it's been happening? I'm
sure it has.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it has.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? I'm sorry if that was like a wild, not very organized thought process, but
yeah, I think it's a great question. And the way I see it is that everything's happening at the same time anyway. So,
and it always comes back to that, the thing I can't get my mind around. All right, cool. Thanks.
I know. Because when you access a past life,
I know past life,
a memory that is in another reality, another dimension, I guess you could say, another frequency. But it's what we call the past. So it seems like it's linear.
Right.
But it's not.
Right.
I see it as cyclical, that kind of thing. That type of thing. So the further we move out from the center source of say a sun, source is a sun, like a sun, the great central sun. The further we move out, the further we are from source, from the center, and the more that feels like the past. And so as we move in, closer in, as our rays, our personalities, the rays of the sun, who we are, the sparks of the sun, move further in, let go of our stuff that keeps us in the past, and move further in on the rays of the sun, then we are accessing our future selves more, because our frequency is higher, and this is who we are in higher frequency, is like our future self. When actually everything is happening, so to speak, at the same time. So when we look at secret space programs, which happen outside of time.
That's what I meant about the bubble thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Outside of what we consider time, they're happening outside of the Earth gravitational pull, I guess you could say, or what we consider time. So there really is no time there. We could be in a secret space program, like you said, for 20 years. I believe I did pull 20 years.
Oh.
Yeah. So there, it's happening even though we progress, I guess you say, could say age-wise, where we're there, because we are still in a bubble, like you said, of progression.
Mhm.
Like on a ship, we're still like here, say we're on a ship here right now,
Okay. Yeah.
and we're still progressing throughout our day. We're not just sitting static, we're progressing, we're doing things.
Yeah.
So it seems like time is happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And then we're told time is happening because it's a construct in our mind about time.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah. And so it seems like we're on a ship for 20 years or, doing all that. And they can bring us back to the time matrix, which is around the globe, Earth, and insert us anywhere in the time matrix.
Such a wild concept.
Which
Especially if you've never thought about this kind of thing before. It's like, what?
I know.
I remember the first time I read the secret space stuff, I was like, hold on, wait a minute. I need to reread that. You know, when you have to, when you read a page and you just read the page, but you're like, hold on. I don't even know what I just looked. I need to go back.
I do that all the time. I do that. I read his book 3 times. So yeah, it's
There's
like,
a lot going on there. Yeah. So
totally.
What makes you say you think you've done 220 and backs? What is that based on?
The fact that I've had so many, my intuition tells me that. And as I start remembering, I remember more and more. I do feel that I feel that I'm working there now.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. But in a younger body.
Okay.
I've seen myself in a younger body, and and in amazing shape because I have memories, and I also have reality shifts where I'm training and things like that, and I'm on missions still. So, and I mean, I end up on ships where there's extraterrestrials all around. I'll just wake up and I'm there.
Oh wow. Mm-hmm.
Do you believe that your soul was volunteered for these missions, or were you recruited in another way?
Oh, good question.
Yeah, I definitely feel I volunteered.
Okay.
Yeah. And when the memories come of the reptilian of the Draco and things like that, then I'll think, what was I thinking? But yeah, it's because the Draco are pretty terrifying.
Wow. Okay.
I remember hearing like through many different sources, and I'm trying to remember what the source was. I think it might have been like Dolores Cannon, where she was talking about how like all the beings in the galaxy like realized like Earth was in need of help. Like, she's going through an ascension. There's a lot of stuff going on. And they literally put out a call to the beings in the galaxy and said, hey, like Earth needs some help. We need some good souls over here to raise the frequency, raise the vibration, help these guys out. And I feel like I'm literally talking to one of the souls that answered that call. Like you're one of the people.
Well, so are you guys.
Oh, that's
really?
cool too.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's cool too.
Yeah, totally. That's why you're a seeker and you're so interested in this, and these memories are coming up for you too, in some way, or else you wouldn't care about it.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And you have your show that puts out information. So definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a memory. It's kind of a joke where I heard the call as this young galactic being. I was like, I don't know, teenager type galactic being. And I'm telling my parents, Earth is calling. I want to go help. And they're like, I don't know.
I would cringe at Earth too, girl. I'd be like, I don't know about all that.
Yeah.
I know. They're like, you're not, I don't know. You haven't had a lot of experience down there. And I'm like, but I want to go help. And I won out, and I've been here a long time. So.
Wow. But I really appreciate that question because it indicates like one is you answered the call, you volunteered, you signed up for this and, yourself, like you recruit, like you answered the call, you were that kind of thing versus like Tony Rodriguez, for example, who was brought into the secret space mission. And I don't even know if you know his story like I do, but basically he was a little kid in like elementary school or whatever, and he like told this one other boy that like he was ugly or something, and that boy's dad happened to be like, I don't want to say like Illuminati because I feel like that's not an appropriate word, but like he was involved in like all this SSP stuff. Long story short, the kid went home, cried to his dad. The dad said, "Oh yeah, show me the boy who made you feel like this." And the boy was Tony.
Mhm.
And then that dad did something to communicate something to somebody, and then that's why Tony's soul was taken and recruited for these secret space program missions. Tony didn't volunteer. Tony's secret space stuff was like as like in retaliation because he called this little kid ugly, which is so crazy.
Yeah, but when you look at the higher perspective of it, I believe that was his soul was aware that was of that setup. Because look at how many people
how could it not
look at how many
be?
people he's helped and he's helping.
For
You know
real.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So I do have a memory of when I was 6, and I thought you were talking about just coming to Earth, but the secret space program, I do have a memory when I was 6 of men in a Jeep coming to my dad's house because my dad was in the Army. I mean, I had military in my family.
Mhm.
And coming to our house and taking me out of the house, and actually before I saw where my parents were sitting at a table and they were almost like comatose, and they had papers in front of them, and they signed the papers for them to take me.
Mhm.
I don't feel that they took my sister, but they took me. And then I ended up in a underground base with other children around the same, and we went through some kind of a orientation to see if we were who they wanted, that type of thing. And I believe that that's when I was brought into the program.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I've heard that before too. And it's so interesting how it's always seems to be like military families.
Yeah.
It's always military families like signing up their kids for these kind of like psychic type of psionic type of, like not spoken about publicly programs. And I feel like they're sold something that's not actually what they're buying, because they're getting sold, oh, you're, sign your kid up for this thing, you're doing it for the country, be
Right.
patriotic and all that stuff. And I feel like they're really getting duped. Like they must not have read the fine print or something, because I'm sure if they really knew what was happening to their kids in these programs, that they wouldn't sign them up for it.
Mm.
Yeah, there isn't any fine print. They just flat out lie.
Or that. Because I've heard that before, where it's like these kids get recruited, their parents are in the military, and somehow they're involved in them being part of the program. And a lot of times their siblings are part of these programs too. Yeah. So it's like the military recruits from their own pool for these kind of things.
Yeah, there's the family.
Yep. Oh, and another thought that I just had is that I was just watching something the other day. I'm trying to remember what it was. I probably can't remember. But anyways, they were talking about how the government is aware that there are alien hybrids living on the planet. I think it was John Ramirez, the CIA guy, talking about how there's alien hybrids living on planet Earth, and how the government has been like tracking these people through their bloodlines for like generations. And they're always constantly keeping an eye on where the hybrids are and what the hybrids are doing, because of their potential genetic capabilities. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty.
Oh my God. I love the secret space program conversations.
You must have read my mind, because I was just going to start talking about the hybrids, my hybrid children. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was told I had 7 hybrid children. This is when I was bringing in my memories in my 40s. I had a really strong memory. Actually, it was a reality shift where recently, in the last, I'm going to say 3 years, where I'm on a ship and there's people living on the ship. It's like walking, like Star Trek kind of stuff. There's a pool. I walk through this place where there's a pool. People are sitting in a pool, and I find my daughter. And I see my daughter. I know she's my daughter, and I've been there before. And I'm wearing this. I'm not in a uniform. I'm wearing like a, like some kind of a gown thing or robe thing. Okay.
Okay.
And I've seen myself like that quite a bit, so I don't I must be some kind of emissary in that reality or something. I don't know. But and so she has thin hair. She's she's humanoid, thin hair, the typical gray and human like thin hair type of thing.
Okay.
And she has her daughter. And I recognize my granddaughter. And my granddaughter has thin hair too. She has pigtails, but she has ears like this that kind of stick up, almost like animal type ears. I don't know what they
Okay.
are. But she looks like other than that, she has kind of large eyes, but not huge eyes. And she's probably 6 or 7, something like that, maybe 7 years old, 6, maybe. Yeah, 6. I'm getting 6. And so I said, okay, what can my what has my granddaughter learned? And my granddaughter's standing up against her mom, and she's holding her hands, and she goes, well, let's show grandma. She didn't call me grandma. I forgot what she called me, but she said, let's show her. And she picks her upside down by her arms and holds her from like upside down.
Mm-hmm.
And she takes her legs, takes her legs, holds her upside down. And my granddaughter moves her arms, flutters her arms, and she's levitating.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So it was levitating. And I remember when I was a kid, I'd sit with a bunch of other kids, and we had these gray beings teaching us how to levitate balls.
Oh, wow.
And taught us all kinds of these types of, that was in the program. And so she did that. And then the next thing I remember is that I'm sitting with a group of people, and we're talking about her coming to Earth, being integrated on Earth.
Oh, okay.
And and they're asking, and we're talking about, it's like a meeting. Do you think it's a good time to bring her to Earth and, integrate her? And I said, no. No, it's not. First of all, she's my granddaughter, and I want her to be safe, I guess. But and I said, no, I don't think so. I said, we can barely get along with each other. Yeah.
Right.
But the thing about the ears was she looked very different because of her ears. Now,
Okay.
a couple weeks later, I'm in my room, just, in that in-between state, that liminal state. And I see 5 people in front of me, human, except for the one on the end. And he has the same ears like my granddaughter, and he has strange eyes, and he's wearing a robe and like a Berlin hat, like a wizard hat, that goes over like that. But he's wearing like a some kind of face covering. And covering his face. And I felt like he did that so as not to frighten me. But I felt so much love from him.
Mm-hmm.
It made me cry. And he told me that he was my son-in-law. He was the father. He was the father of my grandchild.
Oh,
okay.
So he was like a keeper of the earth type of thing. So she had his blood too, so that she had that DNA within her to be kind to the planet.
Mm. Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. I mean,
how cool would that be, to to have that experience? I'm just sitting here thinking, I'm like, wow, that must have been amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, and they were all smiling at me except him. I couldn't see his face, but he because he had a face covering, and they were all smiling, and they had most the ones that I remember were had robes type of thing. But he got my attention the most of anything, and I felt he was male, and I felt a lot of love and caring from him. And yeah, he was helping me remember these things,
Yeah, that's great.
That is great. Yeah.
You said something earlier that I want to touch on, and that was, you mentioned Star Wars, and
or like Star Trek.
Star Trek.
Yeah.
Was it Star Trek? What?
Yeah.
Either way.
The point still remains. Okay.
Yeah.
That I feel like there is soft disclosure in Hollywood. Like, I feel like Hollywood, especially people like Steven Spielberg, like, I really feel like he's been read in on some stuff. I feel like when he did Close Encounters, he worked with Jacques Vallée, you know, and the
J. Allen Hynek.
Oh, is that who? He worked with
Jacques Vallée was involved in it also.
And J. Allen Hynek. Yeah. And it's so interesting that, like we were talking about in the car yesterday on the way back from eating pho bowl, was that the in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, there's the tridactyl kind of beings, right? They're these like little gray looking things, real big head, real skinny body. And now what's current in UFO disclosure at the moment is these Nazca mummies, these tridactyl Nazca mummies. And it's like, I'm not sure if these tridactyl Nazca mummies are legit or not. Some people saying they're, you know, bones of different animals that have been put together and it's fake. And other people are saying it's human fetuses with deformities. And there's like all these different theories. But like, if they do turn out to be true and like there really were tridactyl beings on Earth walking around doing some stuff, I mean, that's so interesting that it's in Hollywood. And just the other day, also, I promise I have a point. Just the other day, we were watching a show called Resident Alien. Have you ever seen that or heard of it before?
I've heard of it, but I haven't watched it.
Oh, it's great.
Funny. You need to watch
I keep
it.
Hearing that it is. Yeah.
It's really good. I highly recommend it. When I first started watching it, I was like, man, I don't know if I'm going to get into this or not. And like now I'm obsessed. So like, I highly recommend it. But in that show, spoiler alert, for anybody who hasn't watched the new season yet, there's this couple that keeps getting abducted by the Greys, and they keep taking them up onto the ship. And then on the ship, there's like this nursery full of hybrid babies. And I think there's truth to that. Like, I think that they're like, again, like with the Star Trek, Star Wars thing, soft disclosure. I really feel like that's what's happening.
Totally.
Like, why else would all these people be having these alien abduction experiences where their gametes are being sampled from them? Like, what do you think they're doing with all these sperm and eggs? They're not just looking at it. They're making babies. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, wow.
Right. No, I totally agree. I mean, too many people are talking about it independent from each other, you know, and that type of thing. And that they've had these experiences for years, for decades. And I had a memory come up when I was in traffic, driving. Traffic.
Wow. Yeah. Tell us about that.
This wasn't that long ago either, but I'm gonna say maybe 5-6 years ago. And I was on my way to Seattle. I live in Oregon, and it's about a 4-hour drive, and I was stuck in traffic. And I was listening to a podcast where a man was describing his experiences where semen was taken from him, that type of thing, right? And he was awake during the experience. And all of a sudden, my higher self is very kind, where I was in traffic at least, but I started feeling horrible pain in my abdomen and my back and my hips area, like labor pains, just like labor pains. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I've had a child, so I understand what labor pains are. And then I am in this experience, I'm bilocating. I'm a bilocator, obviously, from what I've shared. So I mean, we can all do it. And I'm on a bed, one of those metal beds that are people talk about on the ships and stuff. And I'm having they're taking a child. I see 2 grays at the end of the table, and there's another gray here. So there's 3 again, and another gray here who's a female, and she's talking to me, and she's saying, it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. And I'm shaking like crazy. I'm just trembling like crazy. And I've started trembling in my body here. And they ended up taking a premature baby, fetus-sized baby from me. And she's looking at me right here, and I can see her eyes, big eyes. She's saying, you'll be all right. This is to help the planet. You're helping humanity. You're helping the planet. You're helping humanity. And afterwards, I heard a lot of people say that they were telling them that. Yeah, but it was terrifying. And that's the first time I had a visceral memory of them taking a child from my body. So it happened when I was in my 20s. from what I got, 2021, something like that. Yeah.
Wow.
Planted me and then took the child. But I didn't even know I was pregnant.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
This whole scenario was really, really mind blowing. I mean, especially well, I was just about to say, especially for people who've never heard of it before. But I mean, shit, even for me, who has heard of it before and who's dived down these rabbit holes and gotten lost and come back out with more questions that I went in with, it's still mind blowing. It's still like, wow, like,
yeah.
Do you know who Elena Danaan is?
I do.
Absolutely.
What do you think of her take on the hybrid, the gray human hybrids that we shouldn't be inviting, that it's not the way it's supposed to be type of thing? Because I have all her books and I've been following her for a long time, and that's what she puts out there. And
what's her, can you summarize her like stance on it for me, please? And for the audience too, because like I half remember it, but like for the audience also.
Okay. I mean, I really I enjoy her information because when I read her books, even before that, I was having different experiences. And for instance, seeing a man in my room who's in uniform and with an insignia. I didn't know who he was. And he was wearing like a red helmet type of thing. And then she pops up on my feed and she is drawing, she's talking about Thor Honoridian, who's in the Galactic Federation of Worlds, who she works with and apparently is her partner. And he's wearing what she drew is the exact same uniform of what I saw in my room, the male I saw in my room, exact same, and the same insignia. So this was after I had my experience. And so she was confirming a lot of my experiences after the fact in her books and in her, just like Tony Rodriguez was doing.
Yeah.
And in her drawings. And so I always thought that her information was good information. Because it confirmed mine,
Right.
I don't put anyone up on a pedestal or anything like that. I prefer to trust my own intuition, my own experiences. And if someone confirms my experience, that's even greater,
Right.
I'm not as crazy as I thought it was, but I'm still kind of crazy. But anyway, so she is talking about and very adamantly talking about the gray human hybrid program, that it is not a good thing, that the grays have been lying to us, telling us that they lost their home world, that they lost humanity, and they want to hybridize with us so that they can bring humanity into a higher, more intuitive place, because they are very telepathic and all good. She says it's not good.
Okay.
Not good, not a good thing. So that's her take on it. And so she's saying that the only way they can bring the hybrids on the planet is if we invite them and say, yeah, it's okay to have them here. So I don't know. I thought maybe if you knew anything about that information.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know too much, and I find it so funny that we're having this conversation because I haven't listened to Michael Salla in a little while, like a couple of weeks or whatever. And then just this morning, Exopolitics pops up on my feed. I'm like, sure, let's listen to this. And then I don't want to like bring attention to drama, but I guess I feel like it's relevant, so I'm going to. In the comment section, Michael Salla was talking about how he no longer associates with Elena Danaan. Something about how like he like gave her constructive criticism or something and she didn't like take it well. Like I'm not trying to draw attention to the drama, but I'm just drawing attention to the fact that, like you said earlier, you were having these memories and all of a sudden Elena Danaan shows up on your feed and it's like, all of a sudden this morning I'm about to talk to you today and then Michael Salla shows up on my feed. Like I feel like our spirit guides just do that sometimes. Like they can affect our algorithm somehow. It's like the point that I was trying to make. So as far as like what she has to say, I mean, I find that interesting because it's like, we do the UAP news show when we're like always into the UFO disclosure conversation and we're heavily involved in the UFO community, and the community is consistently divided. Some people think it's all bad. Some people think it's all good. Like the thing that came to my mind when you were talking was there's a lot of people that have the stance of like, we can't trust the grays or we can't trust these kind of experiences because the these other beings have the ability to affect our memory to the point where they can give us screen memory. So like, in other words, like, how can you trust a being that can affect what you remember about them? So it's kind of like they have the ability to like make us see what they want us to see, or remember what they want us to remember. I don't know. I felt the need to draw attention to that. I'm not a doomer gloomer. I'm more like, you know, staying on the optimistic side of things. But I mean, it is an interesting concern to bring up, that it's like, you know, I don't know if we'll ever know what the true agenda is. I mean, how can we confirm or deny anything at this point? You know, it's like, do we figure this all out once we die? Like, when do we get to figure it out for real? You know, like, I'm not sure.
Right. Yeah, totally. And I agree with that. We don't really know for sure unless we're in it, in that we have conscious memory of being in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
And on the ships, and with the heads of state, or whatever they call themselves, the generals and all that. Because yeah, but I will say that I had a consultation with Tony Rodriguez when I was starting to have my memories.
Okay.
And I always felt those three grays that would take me out of those situations when I was a child were benevolent, because I felt, whenever I would think about them, I felt actual caring emotion from them. And especially the female. And I remember she would stroke my hair when I was catatonic and hurting and stuff. And Tony Rodriguez told me that that they can send serotonin to us to make us feel that way. You know what I mean? And so I may have just been bringing up a memory of that. But he made me think about the fact that, okay, so if they're taking me out of these situations, why did it continue? You know what I mean? And because I did have a lot of memories of being abused and tortured. I mean, like he did in his story of sexual abuse and torture, and being in cages and being electrocuted and things like that. I had all these memories, and I didn't know how to put it in perspective.
Right.
Yeah.
And I felt like the people, or the one male in particular, who was an extended family member, who my memories were coming through, that he was mostly involved. And after talking to Tony, I thought, well, maybe he was part of the program too. You know what I mean?
Oh, snap.
Yeah. And because he has talked about that they will pair you with someone, and Rebecca Rose has talked about it too, and they will pair you with someone to trauma bond.
Wow. So to do the things to make you go out of body so that you can have these kinds of experiences.
Yeah. And not only that, but yeah, totally. And when you're trauma bonding with this person, child, basically, and then you go through the program with them, you are taken to the brink of death, and have so much trauma that you pretty much lose yourself, and you react through trauma-based emotion,
conditioning almost. Yeah, I get it.
So the perpetrator is being made to do this, and I don't know, it's being forced.
Right.
So those thoughts came to me, and
it's an interesting thing to ponder,
Yeah, and back to the Greys. Okay, were they really good guys like I thought they were, or are they,
right,
part of the program?
Right.
It's a conundrum.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to focus too much on doomy gloomy, like bad vibey kind of stuff, but like, I mean, it when you talk about the secret space program, that's totally part of it, because not all of this is voluntary. Not all of this is consensual. There's a lot of abuse involved. There's a lot of torture involved. There's a lot of abuse and torture, and there's a lot of really, really nasty things. And it's like, you were talking earlier about having like memories of being scared of the Dracos and stuff, and it's like, I also want to bring up the point that like people always ask, okay, well, which aliens are the good ones? Which are the good ones and which are the bad ones? And, you know, some people have an opinion like, oh, all the Dracos are bad, all the reptilians are bad, or that. And then all the people from Lemuria and the Pleiades or whatever are good. But it's like, I would like to think that if any being is just another fractal of God, just like we are, that they all individually have good and bad in them. And it's just a matter of what they express. Like, I don't think you can lump any one race as good or bad. I feel like that's such a humanistic thing to try to do. I would rather look at it in terms of like that each individual being is an individual being and has good and bad within them, and then it depends on how they express themselves. Like, there could be good Dracos, right?
Yeah, I don't know about Dracos, but reptilians probably.
Reptilians. Okay.
I think the Dracos don't believe they're bad. You know,
Okay.
Yeah.
they don't believe they're bad. They don't, you know, that's their empire. That's how they exist, is they conquer.
Right.
That's like the Vikings. Remember
Yeah.
the memories of being a Viking? I was proud of what I did. I was this big male, you know, and I'd go through villages and conquer and rape and pillage and all this kind of stuff, you know.
Yowza.
We didn't think that was bad.
Right.
You know? And that's what I feel the Draco are. They don't see themselves that way. They're like the Klingons, you know, that type of thing.
Oh,
So,
right. Yeah.
Need more soft
very
disclosure.
proud. Yeah, very proud civilization that is warlike, and they're terrifying because of their telepathic abilities. And they see us like, you know, as, you know, like a rat or something. I don't know, an insect basically.
Yeah,
so
I get it.
Something they can use for their own well-being for them.
Right.
But I have seen reptilians that are not negative like the Draco.
Okay.
Like the Empire.
See, okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Reptilian beings. I've seen myself as a reptilian being, and I didn't have. It was during the time of Atlantis, and I've had seen many lifetimes in Atlantis. I did not have a real high moral compass as this reptilian.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was killed by a Syrian type being who I recognized as someone that I knew on Sirius. So we, you know, that I had a really good relationship with. So that, you know, I saw that. And also I was sitting in a galactic council meeting, some type of galactic council or planetary council, not galactic, but planetary council meeting, I believe. And I was taken there, overshadowed. I was just, again, in a reality shift, and I see a reptilian, and there was a council, and I see these beings go up to the council and talk about things that are going on the planet, and a reptilian goes up there, and he's military, very very military, very serious, you know, and wearing something across here, and I didn't see a tail, but he walked up and he did this to the council.
Okay.
And I couldn't listen in on the conversation, but it was mostly a telepathic. But I felt he was a good guy. I mean, he was very military and very serious, and he was working for the good of the planet.
See, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Thank you for verifying that for me, because like I have all these weird random ideas that are floating around in my brain, and it's not always tied to anything serious or grounded to earth, but I feel like they're still valid.
Yeah, well, you know, we have the reptilian part of our brain that's like the survival mode part of our brain, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't,
Okay.
you know, right? So that's what mostly reptilian, you know, the mindset is, what I understand is, but there's higher frequency reptilian type of beings.
Sure.
Sure. Yeah.
What advice do you have, or what advice could you give to other people that might be remembering impossible, quote unquote, impossible things?
Yeah.
Sure. Well, I would say find a support group, find somebody you can talk to about it, and journal it. Definitely journal it out. Write down your memories. Journal it. Get it out onto paper. That's what I did, and what
Okay.
Tony Rodriguez talks about too. And that's how he was able to remember most of his stuff. And find someone you can talk to about it, a support group or something like that. And believe me, you're not crazy.
Okay.
But it can be terrifying. And I think people need others to talk to about it, and for them for people to understand that you're not alone. And there's a lot of people remembering. It's been starting for at least 20 years where people are bringing their memories in.
Yeah.
Find a support group or something like that. I have a local support group where I live, where I host a support group for experiencers. We meet once a month here in
that's cool.
Oh, wow.
the Oregon area in Beaverton. Yeah, and people
Okay.
come that don't have anyone to talk to about it, and it's a really, really good group. And we all
Thank you for
support each
doing
other.
that.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're right. It's true. I think it's important for people to have other people to talk to about it, because, if you have these kind of memories resurfacing, I'm sure you start questioning your sanity. You're like, yeah, am I tripping? Like, where is this stuff coming from? And then, like, is this really
Right.
real? Like, is that even possible? So to talk to other people that have gone through the same thing, have similar memories. I mean, one of the most fascinating parts about the Secret Space program for me is that, like, I can't remember their names. Oh God, there's a couple right now on Earth that are married to each other that had off-world missions together, and then met in person and, like, figured out that they knew each other from those off-world missions, and, like, now they're married.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I think it's Moyen
the French couple.
I think maybe
Jean Charles Moyen.
No, it's not Jean Charles. I'm going to have to look it up and correct myself through editing when I do this. But, like, anyways, so the point is that, like, they met on Earth, not knowing each other on Earth, but then realized that they know each other from 20 and back programs that they did in space. And they, through talking to each other and through sharing their stories, they each helped each other recall more of their memories. And it's just fascinating to me that people can meet on Earth that don't know each other here, but know each other from there, and then help each other remember more stuff from there.
Yeah,
it's just mind blowing to me. Like, how can you deny that? I don't know. It's just so interesting.
Right.
I love that. I had a memory come to me, going back to the support groups. I had a memory come to me where I remember being taken from my room, and I was 5 or 6 or 7 or something like that, and taken on a ship. And there was a whole bunch of kids on the ship. They were taking a whole bunch of kids. There was a bunch of kids on the little ship, and then they took us to a bigger ship.
Mm-hmm.
And they were checking our health and things like that. And they were making sure that we were healthy, that we didn't have any, anything wrong with us, that was concerned. There was doctors there in doctor gowns, and whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And they were checking us. It was, and I had that memory on a Saturday, I believe, or Friday, or Saturday. Sunday, I had the support group. There was a gentleman in there that shared an experience just out of the blue, where he had memory of, in the same area of Oregon, where I lived as a kid, and where he lives as a kid. He remembers waking up, and he and a bunch of kids are walking down a street in the middle of Portland area, North Portland, and they walk into a ship together. Yeah, he said he looked down, he's in his like pajamas and his feet or barefoot, and they walk into a ship, and they were doing a checkup on the kids to make sure that they were healthy. I had just had that memory the day before. He had shared that memory where he remembered it, and he said they put him back in his room, or he had to walk through the yard or something. I don't know. But he said that his mom, the next morning when he woke up, his mom said, "Why are your feet so dirty?" Because they take a bath. He said, "We take baths before we go to bed." So that was his proof that he was out in that. And he confirmed experience, kind of going along with, with people that have similar experiences. Yeah, I haven't come across anyone in my age group from the Secret Space program that has confirmed any of my experiences. But that type of stuff
But see, that's very reminiscent to what this married couple that I just referred to talked about a second ago, because they were talking about both being in like some ship. They remember working together in some capacity, and then they remembered the other person from that situation. So like I when you were telling your story, I thought you were going to say that like you were one of the kids that were also on the ship and you guys remembered each other from, I thought it was going to go there, but it's cool. It's cool. Yeah, see, I find that really fascinating. So how does he have muddy feet if he went to bed after taking a bath or a shower, all nice and clean, and then next thing you know, there's muddy footprints through the house leading to his bed where he's sleeping? Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So how have your gifts as a medium and intuitive supported your understanding of the secret space program and ET contact experiences?
How have they supported it? Well, they help with my remembering, my memory, because I'm able to reach higher frequencies with my practice and with the tools that I have and my wanting to remember. But I communicate with my guides. I communicate with my beings in the star beings and the people that I've been on the other side with. I will say this, that one more thing that was confirmed for me was 20-something years ago, I kept telling people that I have a husband on the ship, right? I've never been married in this life, but I have a husband on the ship. Okay. Now, Elena Danon's one of them, and other people are coming out saying that they have a mate or a husband on the ship watching them. And I could hear his voice in my head 20-something years ago. And he's usually there with me, and I feel like he was the blue being I was talking about before, was my mate. Yeah. Okay. So we take on different forms. But anyway, I do believe that when you're traveling in these different realms, that you're going to have your psychic abilities and things like that are going to be more pronounced. So yeah.
Yeah, we were just thank you for answering that. We were just talking last night, and I said to him, I'm like, out of everybody that we've spoken to that has had an NDE, I think literally all of them have also had ET experiences. And I was talking to you. Remember, I was like, so like, I wonder, like, how do ETs recognize people that have had an NDE? Like, is their aura a different color? Do they glow brighter? Like, do they have like a little tablet that says, oh, this person's been popped out of body before, let's go hang out with them because it's easier to interact with them? Like like, I'm fascinated by the idea that like, once you've had that NDE or your soul has left your body, you've gone beyond the veil and you've come back, like, why does that make you more susceptible to ET contact and to angelic experiences? And you know what I mean? Like the whole scenario fascinates me. Yeah. Like, do you give up a beacon like of light that like,
yeah, totally.
Here I am. I've been dead before,
Well, I tend to hold the belief that we all have extraterrestrial experiences.
Okay.
And a lot of people have had head injuries. There is a beacon or something like that. I don't know. It opens up a part of the brain where stuff is stored. And because I have my own YouTube channel, I interview quite a few people who have had head injuries that are remembering things. So I believe it has to do with remembering memory. Okay. Whereas and the NDE pulls in those memories and it opens a portal for us where we're aware of the extraterrestrials that are communicating with us because they're always doing it anyway. And so that's how I feel. And so when I had my NDE, in 2001, the second one really, I believe that opened a portal for me to have, because all those memories started coming to the surface.
Yeah. That totally makes sense to me. That's like the only thing I could think of that would make sense. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, okay. So what's coming to my mind, what I'm thinking of is if our consciousness is quote unquote being piped in to these bodies from somewhere else, and this body has an issue with it, and it puts your brain on a separate like frequency, so to speak. Is that what is allowing people to access, those past memories that you're not able to, or you were not able to access before?
Great.
Does it change the way your brain receives the signal?
Makes you more of a receiver, I feel like.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe that. Yeah. I mean, that sounds, or it's plausible. It makes sense to me. I can see a possibility of that being a reality.
Yeah, no, great point.
Different parts of your brain, synapses or whatever,
Yeah.
start clicking, start, getting rewired. Our brain starts getting rewired.
Right.
So we're able to, our DNA, is able to, because our DNA is our recorder, right? Our DNA remembers everything.
Okay. Yeah.
Lifetimes experiences everything. So our DNA gets ramped up, and we're remembering a lot more. And so I believe that it's our DNA actually that's
Okay. Yeah.
totally. Then that brings, if you look at NLP, you start as you remember, you start creating or building more neural pathways,
Right.
and opening up more of who we really are. Yeah, that makes total sense.
DNA is really it's extremely fascinating to me, because I'll give you a quick example. My dad, when he was in his late 20s,
oh, I know what you're gonna say.
He got shot in his shoulder.
Oh,
okay, and the bullet kind of went in and out, went in and out, so it passed completely through his shoulder.
yeah.
He was fine. He lived, but he had the scar of the entrance wound and the exit wound,
Wow.
and shortly after that had happened, my brother, my dad and his wife at the time got pregnant, and had my baby brother. And when he was born, he had the same scar from the entrance wound and the exit wound of that bullet.
Yep, same shoulder, same spot, front crazy? And back. I witnessed it myself. I've seen it. It's true.
Right.
So yeah, cellular memory and DNA.
He still has that scar to this day.
That's crazy. I love stories like that. That is crazy.
Yeah.
We're all so connected,
right?
And it only makes sense that we're going to be carrying the sins of the fathers, kind of thing.
Right.
Genetic memory.
The scars. I should say the scars.
The scars. Yeah.
You mentioned having a YouTube channel earlier. So yes. Can you do our audience a favor and tell them, where they can find you online, drop your links, let them know where you're at. And if you have any support groups that you're about to start, you can tell them about that too.
Okay, sure. Yes. Well, my website is SharonSananda.com, SharonSananda.com. And I also have an academy where I teach courses and classes and things like that. And we have a community that we're starting, and that is Kumara Academy, Kumara, and then academy.com. And we started a community where we have meetings and practice groups for psychic development, mediumship development, remote viewing development, those types of things. And we're starting a group for online support for experiencers.
Awesome.
Yeah, that type of thing. So it's the Kumara Academy community. And I have a course coming up. If anyone wants to work on their psychic and mediumship development, that's coming up July 13th, all 4 levels, beginner level up to advanced, and you can take it in increments if you'd like. And and I do personal sessions with people with psychic mediumship and past life soul retrieval, that type of work, past life regression. And also if people want to uncover their memories with hypnosis.
Okay, awesome.
Like all of this is covered there. I love that. That's so great. Okay, cool. So we're going to have your links up on the screen and in the video description box below. As always, ask her your famous question.
Okay, Sharon, what is your greatest hope for the future of humanity?
My greatest hope is that we remember, all of us remember, that we are love and we are light, and we're going to have challenges, yes, but to get through them as easy as we can, and remember that we are all one.
Yes.
Yeah. And, and have, remember the Christ teachings. Christ is my teacher. And remember that we hold everything within us in our heart, and that we are Christ, and we're all the same, basically. We're all one.
Oh.
That's my hope for humanity.
I love that answer. Thank you so much.
Yes, we're going to manifest that. We're going to manifest everybody waking up to the reality that we are all one. Stop with all the warring and the bombing and all the other fighting and blah blah blah. Let's just get along. Can't we all just get along?
I know,
right?
Right. Well, we have to go through what I understand, and this is what, with my quickening, we have to go through what we've brought on, because since we are all one, we brought it all on ourselves, right? So we have to go through all of that like a detox in order to get to the other side of it. And I've seen it. It will happen. It's happening. We just have to clear it out all the stuff that we've created.
Shine the light in the darkest corners that have been
there you go
dormantly dark for a long time. Awesome conversation as always, Sharon. I'm so glad you came back on the show. Thank you so much. Thank you, Justin.
Thank you.
Here. Anybody have any last things they want to say before we close out?
Enjoy life. Love each other. And it's not as bad as you think it is. Everything will be fine.
Oh, I wish Leslie was here. That's her motto. Just everything's gonna be okay. Everything is fine.
Yeah. Love each other.
Love that.
Love each other.
Love that. Shout out, Leslie. All right, cool. Thank you guys so much. For our audience that's sticking around, please do us a favor and smash that like button. Click subscribe, ring our little notification bell, drop a lovely comment down below, and share this video with your family and friends to help us spread the good word. Sharon, can you please join us for our little 3-piece closer? We do a quick much love, peace, and namaste. I'll do it slower, but are you ready to join us for that?
Sure.
Okay, cool. Here we go.
Yeah.
Much love. Peace.
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 And namaste.